Hi everybody. I'm coming to you this way today because I didn't record this class when I was recording my other core classes. For some reason this one didn't work. And so I'm going to present this class to you today this way from my home, and hopefully this will be okay for you. This, to my mind, is one of the most valuable classes that we do during this semester, and I think after we're done, you're going to have a really interesting idea about what you need to get started doing for your own well-being. So, to begin, I want to start off with a little story. I borrowed this from Stephen Covey, actually. I heard this first from him, or maybe it was somebody else, but anyway, it starts off like this. Suppose you came upon a guy who was in the woods. You were in the woods walking, and you came upon a guy who was trying to saw down a tree. He had a saw, and he's really just sawing and sawing and sawing, but he's not getting anywhere, and he's sweating, and he's trying to cut down this tree with this saw, but it's obvious to you, you being a wise person, that his saw isn't sharp enough to cut down this tree. So you kind of nudge him and you say, look, I think you need to stop a minute and sharpen your saw. Now, if he's a typical American, I don't know what's the right word, but if he's a typical person, he'll probably say, I don't have time to sharpen my saw. I'm too busy sawing. Now, that story's kind of like how we are with wellness. We tend to get going and going and going. We're doing so many things, and we never stop to do those few things that would make it so that we could sharpen our own, what I call our wellness saw. So that if we were sharper, we would do everything else we do, everything else we want to do, better. We cut through that tree more easily, essentially. And so I want to kind of explore with you these first few days of class what I think to be are the most valuable saw sharpening, that's a tough word to say, saw sharpening tools. Now, you could, if you were even smarter, you would say to the guy who's cutting down the tree, say, use a power saw. That would save you lots of time. You know, get a saw that will in no time cut it down. A power tool. So we have power tools for our health and well-being. We have a few things that if we did regularly, everything else would be better for us. And we're going to spend the first few days of the semester going over what those things are. Now, the second idea I want to share with you today, kind of in line with what we were just mentioning, I have the belief that when the body-mind is in balance, not imbalanced, but in balance, when the mind is in balance and the body's in balance, the body knows how to heal itself of most problems. Kind of like when you ever been biking and or jogging along a trail and you hit a root and you crash, right? Or you're biking and your handlebars hit a branch and you crash, and suddenly you're bleeding. Say your arm's bleeding, and you're, it brought your ride to a close, or your run to a close, because you're bleeding, and you got to go take care of it. Well, it's really interesting and obvious to all of us. You take it home, you put the wrap on it or Band-Aid or whatever it is, and you don't do anything else. You just take care of it, so it doesn't bleed anymore, and then it heals all by itself. We don't know how that happens necessarily. I mean, the scientists who study this sort of thing have somewhat of an idea, but how that goes from bleeding to 3 weeks later, it's back to normal, is absolutely miraculous, and it's also a very natural thing for you and me, for just about every battle scar that we have, emotional, physical, psychological. We know how to fix problems. Excuse me. Some part of us knows how to fix problems. But the body has to be in balance in order for that to happen more easily, more quickly. We don't just, I mean, if our body's out of balance, for example, if we're in the stress mode, or our nutrition's crappy, or we're just frazzled, our body isn't in the right state to go about fixing the problem. So this class is kind of twofold. We're going to learn about what those power tools are that help us cut down the tree, perform better. And we're also going to learn, and many of these are the same things, we're going to learn what it takes to get our body back in balance, our mind back in balance, our emotions back in balance, so that we can, as a result, heal. Because when we're healed, when we have healing happen for us, then we're free to function how we'd like to, and with more energy, with more peacefulness, with more happiness, with more gumption. Everything's better when we are in balance, and you and I all know that. So the next thing we're going to do today is kind of go into what I think is the MVP of power tools, the thing that does the most for us for getting ourselves in balance more than anything else, according to, at least based on the studies and the research that I've been following for 30 some years. This is our greatest power tool that we have. Not to say that the others aren't really important, that we'll be playing with this first little while, but this first one is really, really powerful. So hang tight. We'll catch you on the next video, and I'm excited to be working with you.